Hello all. In this video, let us take a look into the capabilities and features of SSIS feature pack for Azure, which has been recently released for SQL Server Integration Services. With this new feature pack, the following capabilities are added to the SSIS. With the SQL Server Integration Services itself, we'll be able to connect to Azure storage and then upload and download the blobs from the Azure storage. Also, we'll be able to read and write the data to the Azure blobs. We can loop through the blobs which is available in the Azure storage folder and process file by file for our need. And we could create the HD Insight clusters and delete the HD Insight clusters also dynamically. And we could run the pig and hive jobs in the HD Insight clusters also. For achieving this capability, specific tasks and various components has been created in the SSIS. Now let us take a look into the list of components which is part of this feature pack. There are two new connection managers has been created as part of this feature pack. The first one is Azure Storage Connection Manager, which will be used to establish a connection to the Azure storage, and then we can download the blob files and then process the blob files which is available in that, stored in that particular Azure storage. And second connection manager is Azure Subscription Connection Manager, which will be used to establish a connection to the Azure subscription and create the HD Insight clusters dynamically in that subscription. Also run the pig and hive jobs, and we can delete the HD Insight cluster in that particular connection manager as well. So moving on to the control flow tasks which has been added as part of this feature pack. Azure blob upload task will be used to upload the blobs to the Azure storage, and Azure blob download task will be used to download the blobs from the Azure storage. Azure HD Insight create cluster task will be used to create a cluster in HD Insight in Azure. Also there is a delete task is there to delete a cluster from the Azure HD Insight. Also we have separate tasks to run the pig and hive. That is Azure HD pig task will be used to run the pig script, and hive task will be used to run the hive script in a HD Insight cluster. Also there is an enhancement in for each loop container to enumerate through the Azure folder, with which we will be able to loop through the blob structures stored in a Azure folder and then process it file by file. And nextly we are having two components in the data flow task. One is Azure blob source, and second is blob destination, similar to the source and destination tasks, like with which Azure blob can be considered as a source, transformations can be done and then transfer to any destination. The similar way, from any source the data can be written into a Azure blob destination. So now let us directly get into the demo part of it to demonstrate each and every capabilities. The first demo would be upload and download the blobs to Azure storage container using upload task and download task. Before getting started to the demo, let us take a look into the Azure environment to understand what storage we will be using for this demo purpose, and show is there a HD Insight area as well. So here this storage, this SSIS Azure feature pack demo storage will be used for this demo, and it has a container which is called SSIS demo container, and here only we'll be storing all the blobs and then processing it, and for this container will be primarily used for our complete demo. For ease of navigating through the container blob files and data, we'll be using this Azure Storage Explorer tool, which is a Code Plus project free for download, which has been downloaded, and here we'll be using this particular tool for browsing the blobs and other stuffs. Okay, alright, so now let us get into the first demo. So to upload and download the blobs into the Azure, first step would be like we need to create a connection to the Azure storage. So to create a connection, once you have installed the Azure feature pack, you will be able to see in the new connection, you will be able to see this two new connections are getting added. One is Azure storage and Azure subscription. So once you click the Azure storage and click and say add, you would get a dialog box where we will be specifying the Azure storage account name, and which would be our SSIS Azure feature pack demo would be our account name, and the account key would be, which you will be able to get it from the manage storage keys from the Azure. It would be manage access keys, and here you could be able to get your primary access key, and you could copy the primary access key, and then you can paste it over there, and you can establish the connection over in the SSIS. So for ease of use, I'll be using the already existing connection manager, which has been I have set up already for this demo purpose, from where I have got the account name and the account key from the manage keys. Now let us do a test connection. The test connection is succeeded. Now let us take a look on this Azure Blob upload task and what are the things needs to be configured to upload the data into the Azure Blob. So in this dialog box, as you could see, we should configure the Azure Storage Connection Manager, which will be used to establish the connection to the Azure storage, and the blob container for the particular blob needs to be uploaded, and the blob directory in which it will be created in the blob storage where these files will be uploaded. The source would be from which local folder we will be uploading the data. So for our demo purpose, we are having some files stored in this particular folder, which will be uploaded to the storage. And here in the file name, you could give a star.star means it will upload all the files, or you can specify any pattern, name pattern, or if you say as if like txt star.txt, it will upload only the txt file, or you can give a name pattern over there. And this time range is something like which has been modified between this range to that range, from this range to the to range also can be specified here. So for in this demo, we are having in this upload file folder, we are having these 3 files in this specific folder. Now let us take a look on this demo container, and right now presently there is no folder or no blobs are available, as it says 0 blobs 0 bytes. Let us try to quickly run this task and see how it is getting uploaded. So the task is started and running, and we could monitor the progress over here, and it says upload has been completed. So let us quickly check the status over here in the control flow. It shows the status is success. Now let us try to go here and refresh and see whether data is uploaded or not. So you could see that all the 3 files whichever is available in this particular folder has got uploaded over here. Now let us take a look on how the download task works as part of this demo. So the download task is pretty much having the same properties to be set over here, like the local directory means to which it needs to be downloaded, and this blob container is from which container and from which directory. Here we have specified the same directory which we have uploaded the data now, and same source filter would be like same pattern we could give, and the time range of the change of the data. So now let us take a look on the download folder to make sure there is no files available. Let me remove these existing files from this download folder, and let us try running this download task now. The task is run successfully. Now let us go back to that download folder, and you could see all the 3 files are downloaded here. So this concludes the demo for the upload and download task. Now let us go to the second demo, where we will try to create a HD Insight cluster using this feature pack. So to create the HD Insight cluster or delete the HD Insight cluster, as a first step we need to create a Azure subscription connection manager. where if you go to the new connection, you will be able to see that Azure subscription connection manager, and where you could see add there, it asks for a Azure subscription ID, which you could be able to pick it up from your settings screen, where you could go and see your Azure subscription ID, and you can pick it up your subscription ID from there. And the second step is management certificate store location. We need to generate a management certificate, and then that particular specific certificate needs to be uploaded to the Azure certificate manager. So for creating that particular certificate, the following this code can be used to generate that particular certificate. Make certificate is a command line utility with which you could be running to generate that certificate. Once the certificate is generated, that should be uploaded to the Azure certificate manager portal as well. So in our case, we have already generated this SSIS Azure Demo certificate using that particular code. And once you go here, you can go to this management certificate, and you could say upload, and you can browse the file which we could upload here. In our case, I have already uploaded this particular file to this management certificate, so we'll be using that for our demo purpose. And let us go back to the SSIS screen, where once you provided your subscription ID, and then your certificate store location is a current user, so it will be uploaded into your Azure storage, and your management certificate store name is we have specified as a my in that particular command line utility. And once you say browse, you could see the list of Azure certificates whichever is created, so that you have to choose one. So for our demo purpose, right now let me cancel this, and let me use the existing subscription connection manager which has been already created. So let us try to test the connection, and the test connection succeeded. Now that's the first step on creating the creating the HD Insight cluster. We need to create the subscription connection manager. Once it is completed, we could drag and drop this HD Insight create cluster, and then get started with the configuration of the properties. So here you should be able to specify the Azure subscription connection manager, and you have to specify Azure storage connection manager as well, which is related to the HD Insight cluster. It means that all the files, whatever processing for this HDFS system, this Azure storage connection would serve as a HDFS storage. And as for this is a location in which your HD Insight cluster will be created in Azure, and this is your cluster name. It's a SSIS Azure Demo cluster, and the cluster size is what you can specify 2, 3. Just for demo purpose, I have kept it as 1. And the blob container within which all this demo files and all the HDFS storage will be used. We are using the same demo container under our connection manager, and this username and password will be used for connecting into the query window of HD Insight cluster, or we can use it for logging into the virtual machines or remote desktop of the HD Insight cluster. This is how we need to configure all these properties, and now let us try running this task. Alright, so now the task has been started. And you could see that successfully connected to HD Insight services, and we should be able to shortly see the HD Insight cluster is being provisioned in the Azure. Now let us take a look into the Azure portal, where you could see that SSIS cluster is getting provisioned. You could see that the status is currently it is running. Now the HD Insight cluster creation has been moved to the next stage, Azure VM configuration. Let us wait for some more time for this cluster to be created. Now the task has been succeeded. Now let us take a look into the Azure portal to see. You could see that this demo cluster which we were trying to create is up and running. Now we can try to log into the query console using the username and password which has been already provided in that particular properties of the task. So let us say OK. This particular query console will be used for us to monitor the jobs and see the job histories, whatever has been executed on this HD Insight cluster, and also we will be able to execute the Hive queries on that. And it has a file browser also where we could see the files whatever is available on the related Azure storage. So with this concludes the demo 2 of creating the HD Insight cluster. But one point here is, like, if you notice, the total time taken for the cluster creation is around 20 minutes. On interest of time for this video, I have paused the video for in between to make sure the video length is short. So basically, in my experience on my previous creations also, it takes more or less 20 minutes to create a HD Insight cluster. So that concludes the second demo, and let us get on to the third demo right away. So the third demo is how we will see how to run a pig script in a HD Insight cluster using that Azure HD Insight pig task. So before getting onto the demo, let us quickly have a look into the dataset, what we are going to process. Actually, the dataset has the log file of a Wikipedia page which has the following columns, which is project, page, request, and size. So all these columns are like the space separated, and what we are going to do with this pig task is, like, we are going to find out the sum of requests for each and every project. That's what we are trying to achieve. Let us quickly take a look into that file as well before we are getting started. So this is the source. This is going to be our source file which we are going to be using for this pig processing example. Let us go to this view properties, and this tool has a good feature to where we could be able to see the content of that particular file. And let us choose the text, and if you see the edit, you could see the content of that particular file. So this is the file which we have uploaded using during our first demo one. We will be using the same file as a source. So as I mentioned earlier, you could see that data with a kind of a space separated. Let us go to the SSIS environment and get started with the demo 3. So for running a pig task against a HD Insight cluster, we'll be using this Azure HD Insight pig task. Once you drag and drop, you can set up the properties in the task editor. So here you will be specifying the Azure subscription connection, and then you'll be specifying the HD Insight cluster name, where we are specifying the demo cluster which we have already created. So this local log folder is where you will be seeing the log file for that generated for that particular pig script running. It will generate a log file of what has been processed, or if you are having any errors, you can go to this particular folder and then look into the files for that error or success messages. So this is where you will provide the pig script. Let us quickly take a look into the pig script over here. So this pig script is pretty straightforward, which will load the records from that particular path using the pig storage into the records, and then the records are then grouped by projects, later. Then in the next step, this each and every sum of the requests generated for each and every project, and the results are ordered by sum of project, and then it is getting stored into the pig and slash output folder. So let us try running this. Before that, this script file, whatever right now for this demo purpose we are using the inline script. Here, if not, you could use the script file which is already stored in your Azure storage itself. For example, in the storage account folder called script, and you could store your script files over there, and you could give the blob name over here, so that the scripts from that particular storage itself will be executed rather than this inline scripts. Now let us try to run this Azure HD inside pig task. Now the task has started executing, and let us see the progress over here. So still it says that validation has started and validation is complete. Now let us go to that Azure Query HD Insight Query Console to see the job history, whether any jobs has been created because of this. Now you could see that there are a couple of jobs which is getting created and running. So actually this particular job has been created initially, and then some sub jobs are getting created for doing this process. So this hive job, the pig scripts are being run against the HD Insight clusters in the form of these jobs. Now you could notice that one of the child job has been completed, but still it is running the next child job to process that particular blob. So now the next child job is also completed, and it is running the third child job. Now the third child job is also completed, and I think now it is doing the consolidation. Now you could notice all the jobs are completed. Now let us go to the SSIS environment to take a look on the tasks status. The task status also is completed, and now we need to check on the output whatever we have got. So this we are seeing a lot of files which is being created as part of HD Insight cluster creation. Those are the sample files. By default it will get created. So let us add a filter here to see only the files of our interest, meaning I will add only the feature pack demo related folders. Okay, so these are the folders got created because of our demo, and now you could notice that this was the output path we have specified in our task over here. I could see that over here we have given the path as SSIS pig demo and pig output. So the output should have got stored over there in that particular path. Let us take a look on that what has been got stored over here. Let us go to the view, and here we'll choose the content type as text and say edit. So now you could notice that the output for each and every project, the request has been stored in a comma separated value with the shorting of the request. So this concludes our demo number 3. Now let us quickly get on to our demo 4. So demo 4 is nothing but we will try to achieve the same processing what we have done in the pig script using the same source files using the Hive QL or Hive query language. So Pig is something like it's a kind of a script language which can be used to do the data processing in the HD insight from the blobs. Hive is a query kind of language which can be used to process the blob data. So now let us take a look on how HD insight Hive task can be used to run a Hive query in our SSIS. So to run a HD insight Hive task, you can drag and drop the Hive task from the SSIS toolbox, and you can in the task editor you can give the required properties. This is pretty much similar to the pig task, exactly the same I would say, but in the scripts you will be specifying a Hive script instead of pig script. Apart from that, it's similar, exactly similar, like you'll providing the subscription connection, and you'll be providing the HD cluster name, and you'll be providing the log folder. Okay, so regarding this log folder, which I missed to show you for the demo 3, for the demo 3 there will be a log folder which will be created. In the log file which will be created, you could see that there is already a pig task log file has been created. You could open this task file, this log file, to get your complete details on how the data has been processed, or you could see that successfully 57 records has been stored, and around 14,000 records are processed. So this log file has been generated as part of our demo 3. Let us continue to our demo 4. Here also we will provide the same path, which will create a log file for us to investigate if in case of any errors or anything, and this is where we will provide the HiveQL or Hive script to do the processing of the data. So let us quickly run through this code. So here we are creating an external table called Hive external table with the same structure, like project, page, request, and size, to load that data into this particular table. And from the source folder we are just loading the data into that particular external table, and then we are just creating one another aggregate table for for the purpose of storing the output of this query. Like what we are trying to achieve is project wise sum of requests from Hive external table, group by project, and then it will get stored into the external table in this particular path. So this is pretty much, we are trying to achieve the same thing what we have done in the pig script, but here we are using a Hive code. So this is also the same thing, like we can store this Hive query in a separate blob file in the Azure storage, and then we can point there and run the script. For our demo purpose, we will run the inline script only. Now let us start running the Hive task. Execute. Let us see the progress over here. Validation is completed, and let us go back to our Hive HD Insight Query Console to check on the job history to see what is the status of this job. And now you could see that job is being initialized for the Hive script, whatever we have submitted to the HD Insight cluster. And you could see that it has started running. Similar to the pig job, it is spawning the child jobs to do the processing of the data, and you could see that the second job has been created over here. Now you could see that the jobs are completed. Now let us get back to the SSI environment to see the status. HD Insight Hive task is also completed. Now let us check on the output path what has been created as an output. So output will be stored in this particular path as we mentioned in the Hive script. So let us view the output. You could see that the same kind of output has been stored over here, the group by the project and all the request, sum of requests has been given as an output in our file. So let us take a look into the log file which has been created for the Hive task. So you could see here the log file has been generated for the Hive task, whatever we have processed, and it gives the complete details of how much time taken and how much data has been processed, and it has been successfully completed over here. So this completes our demo number 4 on how to run the Hive scripts onto the HD Insight cluster from the SSIS package. And now let us move on to the demo number 5, where we will take a look on how to read and load the data from the blob stored in the Azure storage using this Azure blob source and blob destination tasks inside the data flow task. And we will take a look into the for each loop container enumerator also to how to loop through each and every blob stored in the Azure storage. Let us get started with the demo 5. As in the first demo, we will try to extract the data from the pig output whatever we have generated in our demo number 3, and Hive output also generated on demo number 4 into a SQL Server environment. We will create a data flow task here, and inside the data flow task we can drag and drop a Azure blob source, and in the Azure blob source we will configure the Azure Connection Manager, Storage Connection Manager, and this would be our demo blob container where the data blob has been stored, and this is where the blob file has been stored. So in our case, for our pig output, this would be the path for that particular blob which we have given it over here. And in our demo we have stored that output file as a comma separated. So we have given the blob file format as text, and then the column delimiter character is text. And another option available is arrow option is also available. So here, let's say once you click the columns, you would see there are 2 columns available, because we do not have the column name in the first data row in the blob. We have not chosen this particular checkbox. If not, we can choose the particular checkbox to make sure the first row is having the column names so that it is not added into the extract. So here it has identified 2 columns from the blob file. With this we have set up the Azure blob source, and for the demonstration purpose we have created a same table like Azure demo process data, where we are going to extract the project and request count and the process type, meaning while we are extracting the data from the pig blob file, we will be adding a derived column called process type, and we will be getting the having the value as a pig over there, and we will be mapping it to the destination process type. So now let us try to run this demonstration to see how the data is getting loaded into the SQL Server table from Azure blob source. So right now, to make sure there is no data available in this table, I have run the SQL query. Now let us start running this particular task. Here we go, and say execute task. Let us see the process on this. So from the blob source, 57 rows are getting extracted, and then in the OLEDB destination 57 rows are loaded. Let us quickly run this query to see do we have the output over here or not. And we also could see that 57 rows successfully loaded into the table. So this is how we will be able to get the Azure data from the Azure blob storage source, and then we could do multiple processing, or multiple transformation in between, and then we can put it in the SQL Server destination or any other destination available in the SSIS package. So this way we have extracted the pig output, and let us see, we could be able to how we will be able to extract the same hive output which has been we have processed already and stored over here, and that's also having the similar structure with a comma delimited. And let us pick up the columns. It is having 2 columns, and now here we have added a derived column as hive to mention this data is derived from the hive output file, and it is going to be loaded into the same table in the SQL Server destination. Let us run this hive extract task. So the same 57 rows are getting loaded, even though as the source is same, the output of the hive and pig task are having the same number of records, and the 57 rows are loaded into the destination. Now let us take a look into the table. You could see the same data, same values are getting loaded for both hive and pig output. So this is a way you will be able to connect to a Azure blob as a source, and then you can extract the data from the Azure blobs. So in the next part of this demo, we will see how to load the data into a blob. So previously we have seen how to extract the data from a blob in the Azure storage. Now let us see how to load data into a blob. So for this demo purpose, in the source we have one blob called blob1.txt. Let us take a look on that particular blob, what data it has. At present it is empty, and it is just having 2 columns like blob name and blob ID. We are having one another table here in the SQL Server which is having 3 rows. Now in this demonstration we'll try to load this particular data from this table into the Azure blob, that particular blob structure. So for that also we'll be having a data flow task added over here, and you could see that we are having a OLEDB source pointing to that SQL Server to that tables which is having 2 columns, blob name and blob ID. And the next step is we could drag and drop this Azure blob destination, and where it is similar to the source itself, where we will be configuring the Azure storage connection manager, and then we would say which blob container where the blob is stored, and as we have seen, the same blob name we have provided here, and we are going to store the data as a comma separated. And as we are having the column name in the first row, blob name and blob ID, we have checked this box, and in the mappings you could see it is identifying the destination column names from the blob file, and we have provided a mapping. Let us run this particular task and check. So you could see that all the 3 rows have got transferred over here onto the blob destination. Now let us take a look over here whether it has got transferred successfully or not, and you could see that in the Azure blob all these 3 records got inserted. Alright, so this is how you will be able to insert the data into a Azure blob from any sources. Like you can extract the data from a SQL Server or any other source files, and then you can insert the data into the Azure blob destination. In the third part of this demo, we will see how to loop through the files or blobs which is stored in the Azure folder. So if you notice here in this particular source folder, we are having 2 blobs, which is blob1 text or blob2 text. The blob1 is the text is what we have loaded just before in the demo, and let us take a look on this blob2 text data also. It has some data like similar structure, and it has 3 records over here. Now let us see how we could loop through this particular folder, this blob Azure storage folder, and process these blob files. So for that, in the for each loop container, a new kind of collection has been added, like for each Azure blob enumerator. Once it has been chosen, you would be able to see this enumerator configuration, where you could configure the storage connection manager, and then you could configure the container name and which is the blob directory you want to process. And as we are going to process only those text files, I've given a kind of a pattern like star.txt so that it will process only the text files, and we could give the time range also. For whatever range of time this files has been modified, that only will be processed over here. So as typically we do for each loop container in for other enumerator, here also we are assigning the path, the complete path, into a variable which can be used inside the complete container. So here, once this path has been loaded here into this variable, used inside this data flow task to configure the source over here. Configure the source for that particular data flow task, you could say right click here and then go to the properties, and in the expressions we could set the Azure path as the path for that Azure blob source name. So in pretty much in the expressions you will be able to set up all the required properties, and dynamically you could configure the properties for each and every properties of this particular task. So here the blob name has been set up with Azure path over here, so that this will be dynamically taken care in the at the runtime. For in the for each loop container, it will read each and every file and then it will process it. So we have added a derived column over here to add the Azure path also as a part of the column, and then load it into the destination table to see from which file what data has come, and the data will be loaded into a final table which is having columns like blob name, blob ID, and Azure path. So here let us take a look onto that table. It doesn't have any data right now, so let us run this demo, and it should this task, it should populate the data. Execute container, and let's see. So the first 3 rows got processed and second 3 rows got processed. So let us take the output on that particular table. You could see that this particular data has been loaded from one first blob, and this has been loaded from the second blob. So this is how you should be able to configure a for each loop container to to process through the blobs in the Azure storage. This concludes the demo 5, and now let us get into the 6th demo and our last demo on how to delete that HD Insight cluster which has got created using the Azure HD delete cluster task. So to delete the Azure HD Insight cluster, we should be using this delete cluster task. You can just drag and drop that particular task, and then configure the required properties over here on this window. Just specify the Azure subscription connection, and then the cluster name which we need to delete, and this property file, if it not exists, means if the cluster is not available in HD Insight, it will fail the task. So this is pretty simple and straightforward, and let us try to run this task. And you could see that successfully connected to the Azure HD Insight service, and the task is running. The task has been successfully completed. Now let us go to the Azure portal to see what is the status over there. So here you could notice that the HD Insight cluster has got deleted. So this is how you should be able to delete the cluster as well. And for this demo purpose, we have seen a demo of each and every task as in a separate package, but ideally what we will be doing is, like, we will be creating this one single package with all the tasks in this sequence flow. Like, we can upload the data, and then parallelly we can create the cluster, and then we can run the pick task or a hive task, whatever you talked, and then we can extract the data from the pick task and the to the SQL Server or required destination, and then we can delete the Azure cluster. So this can be created into a one single package, or whatever variations we want to create. And as well as to run this pick task and hive task, there is no need to create the HD Insight cluster by using this feature pack alone. We can use already existing HD Insight cluster by just creating a subscription connection to that particular HD Insight cluster. So that completes the demo 6 and all the demos for this video. And this particular feature pack is available in both the versions of SQL Server 2012 and 2014, and which can be downloaded from the below path. And thank you very much for watching this video. Bye until I meet with my next video on some other topic. Thank you.